There are elements that cannot, under any circumstances, come under the definition. So marriage, any relationship that is created or instituted after third divorce is not marriage. Whatever name you call it, girlfriend, boyfriend, sugar daddy, sugar mommy, whatever name you give it, you can give it to, but you cannot call it marriage as far as Islamic law is concerned. Okay. You understand? So if something like that happens, and child or children happen to be born, they were born out of wedlock, and they become illegitimate children. Therefore, particularly when it comes to inheritance, they cannot, under any circumstance, inherit from the so-called father.
Okay. Now, what of the case of the mother? Illegitimate children, children who are born out of wedlock, can they inherit their mother? Yeah,
yeah. You know, children who are born on, you know, usually one of the main reasons why a child cannot inherit, an illegitimate child cannot inherit the father, is because of the fact that no one is sure that, you know, the person to whom is attributed is the father. There's confusion.
In this age of DNA, that can be ascertained.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I agree with you that in this age of DNA, it can be ascertained. But this is only one of the reasons. And the other reason is, you know, they have to, some punitive measures have to be taken. Punitive measures have to be taken because an illegal act has been committed, and they have to be held personally responsible for it here and hereafter. Okay. So in other words, whether you know, it was like the case you have given, or in other way, as far as the illegitimate children are concerned, because they are born out of wedlock, and there's confusion, and there's sort of you know, a black dot on the history of the way they come to this world. Allahu Alam, they cannot inherit.
I would have said that if the reason was that you couldn't identify the parents, you couldn't identify the father, that's the only reason why they cannot inherit their parents, then I would have said that those in Europe who have the facility to do the DNA test, you know, after knowing their father, would then have the chance to inherit them.
That's what I'm saying. That's not the only reason. You also have to, like I've just explained, it has some the punitive dimension. In other words, some punitive measures have to be taken. In other words, they have to be penalized. You understand? And in this case, it is very, very embarrassing, socially and morally, for somebody to be, you know, said that the child cannot inherit him because they were born out of wedlock, or they were born as illegitimate children. So as far as the rulings of the Islamic jurisprudence is concerned, they cannot inherit it. He cannot inherit the father, and the father cannot inherit him.
Okay. Children, who are illegitimate, of course, but they have their own mothers, not so?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you see a mother will have an illegitimate child, and afterwards get married to another man and have legitimate children. Now, all these children, do they have equal share to their mom's property?
Say it again.
Children of the same parents, some legitimate, some illegitimate.
Yes.
Now, on the mother side, do they have equal rights, or are they equal claimants to their mom's property?
You know, when it comes to the share of children in inheritance, it varies from one situation to another situation. But because they are children, you understand, whether they are children of a man or they are children of a woman, the rule will apply in the sense that if it is one child, female child, she will be entitled to half of the property. If there are two female children, they are entitled to the 2/3 of the property. If they are both men and if they are male children or one man children, they will exhaust the property. If they are male and female, they will be entitled to inherit the parent. After the other outstanding liabilities are taken care of, they'll be entitled to inherit it on the basis of Lizakari, Mr. Hadil Insane.
On the side of the mother?
Yes. So
even the illegitimate child? But the
illegitimate child is who owns the child?
I mean the mother, not the father here.
Oh, no, what I'm saying, then to whom is illegitimate? Who owns the child? The child comes from who?
The mother.
No. The child comes from the father.
Okay.
And as far as the father is concerned, it's illegitimate.
Yeah, you know, the father situation is not certain here.
Yeah.
You are saying that we don't know the father.
Remember also one thing that I forgot to mention you. There is you know what we call nas shari. There is textual evidence, you know, textual ruling or implication, which says that and illegitimate children or a child should not inherit from the father. So the child is illegitimate to who? To the father, because it's the father who owns the child. It's the father who impregnated the woman. The child comes from the father. So the child is illegitimate not to the mother, it's to the father.
So to the mother, the child is legitimate.
Sorry?
To the mother,
no, you are still confusing the situation. The child doesn't belong to the mother. Illegitimacy cannot apply here. The child belongs to the father and therefore is illegitimate. In other words, why do you call it illegitimate children? Where does the illegitimacy coming from? Where does the illegitimacy come from?
My understanding is because the child, was born out of wedlock. There was no marriage between them.
Good. Yeah. Whose child is it?
It's their child.
Who? No, man, don't confuse. This is illegitimate applies vis-a-vis the father. The child is the father's child. It comes from him. The mother doesn't give herself a child. You understand? So you cannot apply illegitimate as far as the mother is concerned. Otherwise, you're going to confuse the whole, or going to destroy the whole concept. Illegitimacy only applies vis-a-vis the relationship between the child and the father.
Wow, I am still confused.
Well, yeah. I think maybe what I will advise you to do, you go and revisit the meaning of illegitimacy. Then marriage, children, these are all important terminology that you need to visit. The child belongs to the father. The child comes from the father. It is the child, it is the father who caused the coming into this world of the father. So legitimacy or illegitimacy cannot apply as far as the mother is concerned.
Yeah. What I'm trying to explain here is perhaps there could be some sort of privilege that will be given to children who are born in wedlock.
No, that one is for sure, I can assure you. And let me explain this again. When it comes to inheriting from a parent, what is important is the relationship. And there are, of course, although this is not a mirror session, this is another jungle of ideas as far as Islamic law is concerned. But once you say children, you are not referring to either mother or father. Once you say relatives or brothers, then that's a different thing. Grandchildren is a different thing. But insofar as you call them children, what is important for you is to look at the rules of Sharia. You understand that apply when it comes to children inheriting from the parent, from the father or from the mother. If they're inheriting from the father or the mother, go and look at the shares, which I have just explained. So here, regardless of whose father or whose child they are, when it comes to their relationship with their mother, the ruling remains the same. Like I explained to you, children inheriting from their mother, if one male, one female will be entitled to half of the property, two-thirds. More than that, two-thirds. A male or two male children, they will exhaust the property. One male and one female, or some male and some female, okay, again they will exhaust the property, and inheritance will take place on the basis of later career. Mr. Lazan said.
Okay, let's move us to another area also. Yeah. Family planning, Ustaz. It's been taking place in this country and in the world for ages now. What is Islam's take on it?
Family planning also is
in accordance to the way it is done in contemporary times.
Well, I have to be very careful here. I don't want to base myself on the way it is done, but let me explain the concept of the understanding of Islam of family planning. Family planning goes beyond the scope of regulating reproduction and the frequency of pregnancies or birth spacing. That's essentially why it is done, and of course, if there are medical reasons, genuine reasons, even in that sense, it could be accepted by Islam if family planning only means, regulating reproduction and the frequency of the pregnancies. If there are genuine reasons, it can be accepted by Islam. But according to the ulama of Islam, family planning in Islam means giving the family its best image. You understand? Giving the family its best image. And in this case, family planning therefore will mean care and protection of pregnant women, the mother and the embryo, care and protection of children, care and protection of elderly, care and protection of adults, and also doing anything which will raise or will lift the socio-economic level of the family. In this sense, family planning is of course accepted by Islam. And the Sheikh, one of the great scholars of Islam, that's the former Sheikh of Azhar, and the Azhar University, is the most authoritative academic institution or learning institution in Sunni Islam. He said